What's going on, my peoples? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing the end of the Kevin Durant trade demands. Well, it looks like Kevin Durant and Brooklyn have reached an agreement. They will be joining each other at least for this season. But doesn't mean nothing can be done during the season. Not involving Kevin Durant, maybe moving Kyrie, maybe moving Joe Harris or any other miscellaneous pieces here and there. You just have to wait and see. But what does this show us about this whole saga that unfolded? Did Kevin Durant even want to be traded? Or was he just hurt that he lost in such a fashion? They got eliminated in the first round. They got swept nonetheless. Frustration throughout the season. His running mate refused to get vaccinated. He had a coach who was a rookie coach, fresh, had no idea to make in-game adjustments at some portions of times in the season, was being outcoached by the opposition. It's frustrating. Kevin Durant is a very cerebral person. He's a cerebral basketball player. But what this whole saga has shown us is how emotional he can get. He wanted the coach gone. He wanted the GM gone. Doesn't work that way, especially when you're signed to a whole new extension, which lasts the next 4 years. Kevin Durant knew he had no leverage. The owner of the Brooklyn Nets also knew Kevin Durant had no leverage. So when the smoke cleared and all the dancing and all the whispers and all that stuff, people knew, did Brooklyn really had any intentions on really trading Kevin Durant? Probably not. Did they drag their feet through it? I'm 100% sure they did, and rightfully so. Whatever you get back for Kevin Durant isn't going to be Kevin Durant. He's a generational type player. He's obviously going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know, he's box office, but you're not going to get that in return in whatever trade agreement there is. Kevin also understands in the back of his mind that whatever situation he landed, they pretty much had to gut whatever said team he was going to be sent to. So whether it was Miami, you're talking about they would have had to send Bam Adebayo, possibly Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. That's gutting the team. Serves no purpose. Another destination he requested was Phoenix Suns. You know, the obvious choice would have been Devin Booker. Maybe try to work something out as far as Chris Paul and some other young pieces. DeAndre Ayton. It doesn't work that way. I think what Kevin has to understand is when you're trying to build a team, you got to take the good along with the bad. And I think also at his, age and, tenureship in the NBA, he's seen a lot. But to actually build a team from scratch and, take ownership and understand that a lot of the blame is going to heap on you. Obviously, you are going to be in the forefront for the praise, but blame, it comes with the territory. And I think this is only, one of the very few times, other than when he was part of the OKC Thunder, he's accepted some blame. But people have said in years past, Kevin Durant is in search of something. What that something is, no one will know. He only knows that. I know he's won his titles with the Golden State Warriors, but he wasn't looked upon as a savior because people still praise Steph Curry. They said about how Steph Curry had sacrificed and given his all and took damn near a backseat for Kevin Durant to shine and step into the frame and be the, that X factor, that Swiss Army blade to help put them over then against the Cavaliers. Kevin Durant didn't like that. He didn't take that. And he hears all the mutters and things of that nature. Keep in mind, Kevin Durant is an individual that has burner accounts. He has time. He's always going to respond. He's going to say something. If you rub him the wrong way, he's going to react back. So it's not surprising. But moral of the story is Kevin Durant never probably wanted to get traded. He was just very, very upset and discouraged with how the season ended. And also, he knew he had no leverage. Maybe at one point, there was probably a small portion of him that really did want to get moved. He wanted to get away from all the ruckus. There was a lot that took place in Brooklyn. They didn't have their full team intact, but nonetheless, they made it into the playoffs. They had to play in to get to the playoffs, but they made it. This is a team we're talking about that during the preseason, they were predicted to get to the finals, if not win it all. It turned out to be one of the biggest disasters in NBA history. And his name is stamped all over it. I don't think Kevin Durant is a bad guy, but I do think he doesn't take blame and rhetoric very nicely or easily. But criticism, we all take criticism. We all have received criticism, good or bad. We get it every day. Kevin Durant is not absolved to that. He's human. He's going to react the way he reacts, just like we are going to react the way that we act. But one thing that has to be understood is that he didn't have leverage. So he could pout, he could scream, he can write, he can text, he can post, he can do whatever the hell he wants. But at the end of the day, there's a billionaire owner for the Brooklyn Nets. He understood what was going on. He can see from afar and he can see up close. He's not going to do anything. You're not going to force his hand. And also, he has people looking at his end. He has other owners looking at him, hoping that he stood his ground. Try to, not necessarily try, but he needed to dig his heel into the sand. And understanding that, he won. You signed a contract, Kevin Durant. You have to understand, you have to own up to that contract. It wasn't like you had a year left. It was a renewed contract, 4 years. So, I don't know. You're just going to have to bear it. But apart from that, on the brighter side, looks like the Nets are going to go forward full scale with their team. They said Kyrie yesterday is off limits as far as trades. He's not available in any way, shape, or form. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, gave the okay, thumbs up, that his rehabilitation and things of that nature have been going well. So he should be straight for, upcoming preseason and should be there, from day one. So what does that give Brooklyn in tow? They're going to be one of the top tier teams in the Eastern Conference, but I'm still not a believer. They can't stop anybody. It's going to be very hard for them. They play no defense. Yes, I see they signed Royce O'Neal. They've gotten other pieces here and there, TJ Warren and things of that nature, but they don't have a stout defense. Defense wins championships, and defense is like allergic for the Nets right now. They allowed a very high volume of points last year, and I don't see it getting any better. They're soft in the middle. They have Claxton in the middle. He's not stout. He's not big. He's just going to get pushed around. His length and his timing is great. And, he's very twitchy and he's young. But when you get into these games where it's ground and pound and you're going to be grinding and half court offense and things of that nature, it's going to be hard. You're going to be looking at the Nets, the same old Nets that we looked at last season. You have two dynamic players, and then you're adding Ben Simmons into the fold. Now, which Ben Simmons are you going to get? It's hard to say. But I hope it's a rejuvenated one and a motivated one. But with that being said, like I said, the Nets will be in the top tier offensively. Defensively, let's see what they give you. From the perimeter standpoint, yeah, they'll be okay. But interior, they're not stopping anyone. And there are some interior forces in this league that are going to give the Nets that sort of trouble. So only one can speculate and see what happens. Are there more moves that could be had? Yeah, I'm sure. From what I hear, they're not too high on some of their other bench players. They have other commodities that they might want to move. Predominantly Joe Harris, who hasn't played, I think, in about a year and a half. Very nice marksman, very good shooter, but it just can't get healthy. And, it's unfortunate, but health is your best availability. If you're not healthy, you can't do anything for anyone. But with that being said, Kyrie's off the table. Kevin Durant's off the table. Ben Simmons will be there day one, so they have their trio in tow. Let's see what the Nets do. But other than that, let's see what this NBA season gives us. Thank goodness that this saga is over. Hopefully more moves can be done. I know everyone is sick and tired of this. Probably a big waste of everyone's time. And I'm sure there are a lot of people, pundits, and others out there who knew Kevin Durant couldn't go anywhere simply because he had no leverage. You can be upset, but it doesn't mean because you're upset that people are supposed to jump ship. It's not going to happen that way. So, in closing, they are there. Brooklyn keeps intact. The saga is over. And, just stay with me. We're going to break down a lot of these teams and what this NBA season, keeps installed. All right? Other than that, watch me work.